Freeman was, of course, the face of the Braves franchise for years, and earlier in the day, he posted a farewell message to Atlanta fans saying this, quote, "Thank you from the bottom of my heart. It has been a blast to have you cheer for me, and I hope I was able to bring smiles to a lot of your homes over the years. I gave everything I had day in and day out, and I hope you guys saw that as well." Freeman, of course, adding even more star power to an already stacked Dodger roster. Thankfully, there will be a designated hitter in the National League this season, making room for one more big bat in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, almost every single person on the Dodger lineup is a former All-Star, some of them former MVPs.
3 of them in this starting lineup.
Are you saying it's World Series, here we come?
Well, you talk about starting off the season really well, and depth is so critical. We've seen the injuries. We saw a lot of them last season. When you've got this much depth in your lineup, that's only beneficial.
So I don't know if you enjoy saying, "I told you so," but I don't know if anybody was watching us at 6 o'clock tonight. Kyle was out reporting at Crypto.com Arena,
That's right.
and I had a feeling this was going to happen. Take a look. Tonight's going to be the night, Kyle. When you're back here at 10, you're going to get to report on Freddie Freeman coming to the Dodgers. Throwing that in the universe.
Heard it here.
All right. Okay.
See how that works out. It worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I think Fox 11's going to win the lottery. The people here.
If you conjure these kind of things up, we would really appreciate
out there.
You letting us know in
Yeah,
advance.
very cool. All right,
Well
great
done.
night for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Great to see you, Kyle.
Time for the hometown guy. All right.
This is Jesse with the Improbable Podcast. Freddie Freeman coming at you.
One free agent out there for the Braves, Freddie Freeman.
He is a dangerous man. And long gone by Freddie Freeman. Is this happening? It is. The Atlanta Braves are world champions. Freddie Freeman's left the yard and put the Braves on top. That is a monster match out of Freddie Freeman. A thing of beauty for number 5.
If you don't want to get benched this season, don't strike out. Hit that like button, swing at the subscribe button, and hit a home run on that notification bell.
I've been in this organization since 2007. You went through some lean years, some crazy times this year, and now you are a World Series champion. What does this moment mean to you?
I don't know, Ken. I'm at loss for words. This is it. This is everything you worked for. And I mean, we're in November right now. We've been doing this since February, and we've had so many ups and downs this year. And for us to be world champions, Ken, that is awesome to hear.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah. Scratches, dents, and dings on your car? That's right. There's a non sequitur. Look it up. When life throws you uh-ohs, just say, better get Mako. Go to Mako.com today.
Freddie Freeman, after being all those years with the Atlanta Braves, he is now a member of the Los Angeles Dodgers. 6 years, $162 million deal.
But the Dodgers kind of made the most sense once the Braves locked up Matt Olson, and then that's where things landed.
Buster Olney, ESPN MLB Insider, joins us now on Keyshawn J. Willimax on ESPN Radio Sirius XM Channel 80. Buster, good morning. What did this come out of left field? Were you expecting this Freddie Freeman contract with the Dodgers? What happened here?
Yeah, I mean, based on what I'd heard during over the lockout and just before they got to that, and how the negotiations between the Braves and Freddie had hit an impasse, and there was a sense in the Freeman camp that he might have to go someplace else. I'm not surprised. But when you see the final numbers, I would say this, and I'm really curious to see, what each side said, if both sides talk about how the negotiations play out. I am surprised that in the end that he didn't land with the Braves. When you see, he got $162 million from the Dodgers. And I got to say, as the game of musical chairs played out, I think the Dodgers kind of bailed him out a little bit. I don't think he had a lot of, big contractual options once the Braves made the deal for Olson. Once the Yankees decided he was too expensive, the Blue Jays trade for Matt Chapman yesterday. He gets $162 million. When you apply the state tax in California, and my sense of where the Braves were willing to go, they really weren't that far apart. So whoever that's on, we'll wait and see and hear the voices. But it's surprising that he didn't wind up signing with the Braves.
And that surprised Buster, and you talked about taxes and all the other things, and they were close. Did going back home play a part? Getting back to California play a big part in this?
I think his absolute preference was to stay with the Braves, Key, and I know that because in the aftermath of everything that played out earlier this week, where the Braves make the move on Olson and slam the door shut and Freddie coming back, he did communicate to others in the Braves organization how upset he was that it turned out that he wasn't back in their camp. But the Dodgers were always the strong second option, I think, because he gets to go back to his home state. He goes to a team that's going to compete for a championship every year. And the Dodgers are known, like the Braves, for having a great clubhouse. In the last few days, there's been talk about, the Tampa Bay Rays might make a run at Freddie. They may be more aggressive than what people realize. And whenever I'd hear that, I'd go, really? Like Freddie's going to go from playing in that great baseball atmosphere in Atlanta to going and playing his home games in a place where there's more cowbells than fans? No way. So to go back to the Dodgers makes complete sense given how it played out with the Braves.
Buster Olney, ESPN Baseball Insider, joining us this morning on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Buster, where does this lineup, when the lineup is set, where would this lineup stack up historically in baseball? Because I have my own theories and thoughts when I look at the Dodgers historically with lineups, but where do you stack this up at?
I got to say, because remember, we're looking at it from 30,000 feet, where the Dodgers were at the end of the last regular season and where they are going into this year. I don't think it's that much different because they lost Corey Seager, and Freddie's a great hitter. He's such an unusual hitter with that style. They hit the ball left center field as a left-handed hitter. But having him in that lineup is certainly, with Max Muncy, assuming that he's able to come back, Mookie Betts, Trey Turner, who is an MVP-style candidate. It was strong at the end of last year, and it'll be strong going into this year. Is it one of the best lineups we've ever seen? Not necessarily. I think they are where they were when they won the World Series.
Mm-hmm. ESPN Baseball Insider Buster Olney joining us here on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Buster, what else or what other moves should we keep an eye on?
Number one on the board, big board, no question, is Trevor Story, who is he and Carlos Correa, I should say, the two elite shortstops are still on the board. Correa is in negotiations with the Astros. Made him two offers last year. He turned it down. He talked about the Astros almost like in past tense at the end of the World Series last fall. But in this moment, it might make sense for him to go back there because I don't think there are any big market teams that are out there right now with $300 million to spend. So maybe he tries to work it out to go back to Houston. And I'm just pulling numbers out of the air. Let's say 6 years, $210 million, but with an opt-out after the first year, which would allow Carlos potentially to go back out into the marketplace and get the $300 million deal. And Trevor Story, maybe he's in competition for that opening with the Astros. Minnesota Twins have been connected with him. Those are the two big names that are going to fall here, I think, in the next 72, 96 hours.
Buster, I'm thinking of the Freddie Freeman signing, and I'm a Yankees fan. I think about the Mark Teixeira signing. For the Yankees, it's similar to me, similar point in their career, similar kind of level of player, et cetera. Yankees won a World Series with that deal, but draft compensation they lost turned out to be Mike Trout that went to the Angels, right? So, there's always that kind of calculation that teams have to make. What has the reaction been across baseball to Chris Bryant signing a 7-year, $182 million deal with the Rockies?
Absolute shock. I tweeted out last night on a scale of 1 to 10, the shock in the industry is at an 11. because a lot of teams were wondering if Chris Bryant, because of what's gone on in his career and the trajectory of it in recent years, whether he would even get $100 million. And then you have the Rockies, who wound up dealing away Nolan Arenado and eating a lot of that contract in that deal with the St. Louis Cardinals, nearly doubling the type of numbers that people expected, because Chris, had some bad years in recent years. There had been a question about, boy, it doesn't look like he's as good at third base as he used to be. It doesn't look like he's going to be someone who's going to be serviceable as an outfielder into his mid to late 30s. And now you have a situation where if he's going to play the outfield in Colorado, it's the biggest outfield in baseball. And so people with other teams, immediately after the news of that broke yesterday, were texting me going, what is going on? Have they seen the last few years? It's like they weren't watching baseball.
Yeah, but it's nuts. They must have an analytics department that says, in Mile High, he's going to hit 1 million home runs. Buster Olney, ESPN, MLB insider from Braves spring training. Thanks, as always, Buster. Great to hear from you.
All right, Buster.
Thanks, guys. Good to talk with you.
What version of Michael Jordan in 2021? Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman, who's like clockwork every year. And you know what once upon a time, Eddie Murray or Mark Teixeira or one of these dudes who every year at first base can hit right in the middle of your order, pick it at first base. 6 years, $162 million with your Los Angeles Dodgers, Keyshawn Johnson. The Dodgers,
yes, that is correct.
Yeah. The Dodgers would be the 6th team in Major League Baseball history with 3 MVPs from the previous 4 seasons. Like teams, you could say, he won an MVP 15 years ago. No, 3 of the last 4 MVPs are now on the Dodgers.
Yeah, this is go ahead, Max.
Well, the Big Red Machine, when we were little kids, Keith, Big Red Machine was impossible, right? The Cincinnati, Pete Rose, Joe Morgan, Johnny Bench, Tony Perez, George Foster, all these dudes. Well, Joe Morgan, Pete Rose, Johnny Bench were the last time that you had 3 of the last 4 MVPs on the same team. Big Red Machine, by the way, went back-to-back 75, 76. So how are you feeling, Key, about your Dodgers?
I'm good. Pat Costello asked me this morning, what do you think about the Freddie Freeman signing? I said, we got a first baseman that can bat in the middle of the order, left-hander. That works great for us. He was like, huh? You just got a former NL MVP. I know. We're getting rich all the time in Dodgerland. I think this is a huge – he's coming home. He's from California. It's a huge, huge pickup for us. Typically, as you know, Max, we do not spend money in open free agency. And before anyone says Mookie Betts, no. Mookie Betts was traded to us, and he became a free agent, and we re-signed him, opposed to going out and spending big money on guys. The last guy that I could think of might have been Brown, the pitcher that we spent that $100 million on, and that went
Kevin Brown.
That went south on us.
Yeah, because you lose draft pick compensation when you just go out and sign a Type A free agent. This way,
no, you don't. You don't lose draft compensation.
Yeah, when you sign a guy you're going to lose draft. But that's one of the reasons teams like the Dodgers don't do it.
You meant when? I'm sorry, I thought you meant when we signed Kevin Brown.
No.
Yeah, okay, I see. Yeah, no, but we also, from a payroll standpoint, the luxury tax has been one of those things that the Dodgers, I think, didn't believe in until they signed the big Spectrum deal, and then all of a sudden they don't mind being over the luxury tax and going right up against it because there's so much money that's out there. But in terms of first basemen, I was trying to think in my head, who have we had at first base that I can remember outside of Steve Garvey? We had Eddie Murray, but Eddie Murray was at the end. He was just hanging on farewell tour.
By the way, he had a great season for you that one. He hit like 330 one year with power.
But we had Greg Brox and Sid Breams, and then we had Looney for a minute there. But other than that, we've been searching for first basemen. I know Cody Bellinger can certainly play that spot when we needed him to, but for the most part, he's an outfielder, but this solidifies our infield, no question about it.
Aesop Choi, you're right. Like, there's been no great first baseman for the Dodgers, great ones that I can recall since Garvey.
Well, I'm glad you guys got some positive news last night in L.A. because the game I watched last night was not positive by the Lakers.
Hey, man, watch out.
Well, the Lakers did lose again. L.A.
Really?
City of champions, but the Lakers did lose again after an air ball by Russell Westbrook. Karl Anthony Towns was seen.
Hit that like button. swing at the subscribe button, and hit a home run on that notification bell. Thank you for watching the Improbable Podcast. Have an improbably awesome rest of your day.